Hello to all you wonderful weirdos out there. I am the one and only former Moon God. Welcome back to this playthrough slash visual novel experience that I am bringing to you here in the form of Trigger Happy Havoc, Danganronpa. The last video encompassed the entirety of Chapter 3's investigation phase, with just a little bit of a bonus that led into that. Namely, Ifumi's quote-unquote sudden revival, only to die immediately afterward before the beginning of the investigation phase. The entirety of the investigation phase progressed through many twists and turns, and now everyone is here, ready to face the Blackened. And probably my least favorite class trial in this game. Let's just get this over with. Everyone had heard Monokuma's proclamation, and they were gathered by the red door. And as soon as we were all there...
Monokuma appeared!
Hello! He's multiplied?
Wrong.
Nope, not multiplication. It just looks that way because of an illusion. I'm moving so fast, it only looks like I've multiplied. Can you guys tell which one is the real Monokuma? Can we just get on the elevator already?
Boy, tough crowd.
You're not playing along.
Stop talking.
We're not here to play with you.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hey!
Then if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the pain train, elevator. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Oh, hold on! I'm not mentally prepared yet!
What the heck?
You'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away anymore, hero. You're gonna pay for your sins.
What the heck?
I told you already, I didn't do it. For serious! That reminds me. Did you ever find the other costume? Or the note? Well, no, but... How unfortunate. Then it would seem we have our culprit.
Hey.
This isn't the place to talk about it. Save your accusations for when we get to the courtroom.
That's right.
She's right. Let's get down there first. Then the story can really begin. Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. I can't let whoever killed Hifumi and Taka get away with it. For everyone who's still alive, and for the two that lost their lives. The one who killed Hifumi and Taka. The one who killed two of our friends. The killer is... someone right here. Yup. I wonder who it could be. I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own, and the steel box began to move. The clunking of the elevator kept us company as we fell further and further down. There was no going back. Until we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator door slid open, opening up onto a cruel fate. When I see all of you gathered together like this, I realize just how few of you there are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax.
Just the worst.
Only because of you. Why? Why are you making us do such cruel things to each other?
What?
What? Do you really hate me so much? But I'm so cute!
Come on.
Stop goofing around and begin the trial! Don't rush me! Of course I'm gonna start it! I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed class trial after this commercial break!
Yahoo!
I'd never hold out on you like that! Okay, let's begin! Get to your assigned seats! And so, the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment. A deadly deception. A deadly portrayal. A deadly riddle. A deadly defense. A deadly faith. A deadly class trial. I will so gladly take the opportunity to save. Whew. Here we go, chapter 3, and I'm gonna have to set some new skills because I got some. Definitely going to get menacing focus equipped onto me. As well as tranquility. That is also going to be in the cards. And that is all that I'm going to be able to equip because I am currently just trying to optimize this run. So, let's finish the preparations and get going. No more insane voice acting for me or voiceover. Let's go.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it.
And there's... here we go. Here we go. First objective, I was gonna say proving that Hero is innocent.
Was that?
Was that? Yeah, what?
It was Hero. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit.
Alibi? Okay, that's an interesting intonation detail.
Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't. Someone knocked me out. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know anything about it.
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
And there's the irony.
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hero, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit.
Yeah, we do have blueprints.
Parts we assume were used to build it.
That is true.
And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling.
I mean, on paper, but when you get into the nitty-gritty details, anyone can understand that that is a load of horse crap.
It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
Oh boy, I can't wait to prove her wrong.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. I don't know.
Is Hero really the killer? Or... Before anything else, we have to make that clear. So, what are my truth bullets this time? I think it's gonna be Yasuhiro's message.
Everything we found in your room.
And I'm gonna make sure... Okay,
the
so...
blueprints, the suit parts,
yeah.
They are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff. It's not true. It's a conspiracy.
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No, just hold on a second.
Okay, so blueprints is the only way in, I guess. Compelling evidence that Hero is the killer. Is that really true? So we have to find something that is contradictory, or that is the only endpoint, is the
Everything we
blueprints.
found in your room. The blueprints,
There it is!
No, that's wrong.
I was right! Here we go.
Are we sure Hero really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Here we go. This is the end.
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hero wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared.
Classic handwriting discrepancy. Let's go. Spoken like a true detective, Makoto. Way to go, man.
The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
Unless you are someone like Hero who takes great strides to make sure his penmanship is up to snuff.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
Dude, I respect the hell out of you for willing to admit that about yourself. That could not have been easy.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
Oh man, God. Agreeing with Byakuya, you know we're f***ed if that's the case.
What?
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
Not a second suit.
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
And of course he passes it off to me.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
The suspicious individual in question, the one that must have been in the suit. The Illuminati.
I got it! Other than Hero, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
Correlation does not in fact equal causation. That is a basic fact of science, and it's also a basic assumption that we all fall into. I gotta admit, Byakuya, at least you have my respect there, just recognizing that.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
Oh, here we go.
What?
Yep, here we go.
Now that's a bold assumption.
It is, but this trial is incredibly bold with this direction.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
Look, he's just tired of all the bullcrap. I'm tired of all the bullcrap. I'm starting to... Byakuya's starting to grow on me, but for all the wrong reasons, and I'm so sorry.
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
They were a blue tarp and a dolly. The things that were used to move Taka's body, they must have been... I'm gonna do the dolly first. Where the fudge is the repository dolly?
I got it!
There's still one more thing. The things that were used to move Taka's body, they must have been...
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with the attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository.
That is correct.
And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that up until then was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly.
I mean, you're going based off of your memory. I mean, that's still gonna be intense logic roughness. I just... Someone's probably gonna have to point that out. It's Danganronpa, they're gonna point it out.
When Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right?
Yep.
But are you sure you are not mistaken?
No, they use the dolly.
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment
And of course,
room when you
Celeste.
found Taka's body?
How did I know this was going to happen? I haven't played in a while, but it's just pure Danganronpa. Like, there's going to be someone who is going to gnaw at every single detail.
That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
I mean, yeah, but also bloodstain. There is a bloodstain.
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
I respond with presenting more evidence.
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
Oh, wanna bet?
We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Oh, jeez! Oh man, I really have been doing Makoto dirty, haven't I? Wow. I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. But maybe I can change her mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. A new element has been added to bullet time battles. Would you like to hear more? The moment of truth. Oh boy. Oh, let's do it.
You have it wrong. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Away with you. You miserable wretch.
I gotta...
Cannot agree. So pathetic.
Okay, I gotta reload bullets.
Do your
That's
worst. You have it wrong. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. So pathetic. Do your worst. I cannot agree.
Oh, come on. There we go.
This should prove it.
Dang! That was actually probably one of my best combos on that. I sorry, I just had to zone in.
Move. I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Why is she getting so up in arms about it? Jeez. Does Celeste really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Jeez.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
Oh, crap, that's right. I mean, I think Hina talked about it earlier. That suit you couldn't bend too easily, right? If I looked at how the body was moved, it'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't have done it. What does he mean by that? Oh, I know exactly what he means by that. Robo Justice costume. Okay, that's gonna be the bullet.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room.
Yes.
And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is
bend over. Nope!
No, that's wrong.
I just knew it! I just knew it!
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
I don't think I've mistaken the Y and X buttons yet, so that's also an improvement, so I like that.
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
I'm blind as a bat in here! Can't see my feet at all! I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing! I'm telling you, it wasn't me! And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist! Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist.
I'm surprised they didn't, like, re-voice the line, even though that was a fully voiced cutscene. That was interesting.
Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Sorry, Hina. We really gotta keep this thing on track.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Also, a solid detail to point out.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
Well, that's the thing. You couldn't take off the suit. There's absolutely no chance that the costume was taken off just to move the body. Because once it's on, you can never take it off. Oh, jeez. No, that wrong one.
Shoot.
It's similar one. You can't take it off by yourself.
I got it. I don't think taking off the suit was an option.
So stupid!
If you remember,
just a little difference in wording. I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help? Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the stupid friggin' thing! There's a class on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. We don't really have a choice. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
Nope.
Of course I wasn't making it up.
if he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it.
That's... yeah, fair point.
Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right!
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
Yep. No way.
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot suit, correct?
Yeah, at least that detail.
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo-Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that?
Oh my... Robo-Justice isn't getting dragged away. He's being carried by Hifumi right now. Hifumi's like... Oh...
Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt?
That guy hit me.
What guy?
Robo-Justice. That's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Oh boy.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion.
Thank you for steering the conversation back towards, the focus here. Kirigiri, way to go.
Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility?
It wouldn't be Danganronpa if you didn't do that.
Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Yep.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Okay, that whole, that came out of nowhere.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
Oh, I don't think she's going to be, talking about that.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
Those details are a little messy too.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume.
Assuming that Robo-Justice was the assailant to begin with.
As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library.
Okay, maybe we're overanalyzing this a little bit.
He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
What's wrong? I saw a shadow! Something moving around at the top of the stairs!
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him! The strange costume man! He ran off as soon as I screamed! I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared!
and then...
Oh, yeah, that was Hifumi's scream was like... Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi! He's in the nurse's office! This is bad. Come on, we have to go back!
At that point, we decided to divide up into two groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect.
This sequence of events, the whole sequence of events that is ingrained in their brain, is the bane of my existence when it comes to this trial, because you do have to, like, pick apart every single detail and question every single thing. From a logical standpoint, it is a clear step up in difficulty, but also it is really, really long.
When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time.
Yeah, even though the body announcement played twice. Is someone gonna point that out?
Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared!
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
Oh, jeez. This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated.
It does.
It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation.
That's fair.
And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them.
Okay, at least she's gonna give us a little bit of a guide through this complicated series of events.
Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
A series of unfortunate events, if you don't mind me saying so. Wink, wink. The contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them, no matter what. Oh, here we go. Broken wristwatch, Monokuma file number 3, Yasuhiro's message. I'm going to assume the broken wristwatch just from a first pass standpoint.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
No.
What makes you say that?
Because of the
numbering of the Justice Hammer.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so it's not gonna be that, but I know it has to. Oh.
Regarding Taka's death.
Okay, so how do I speed through again?
I wonder if he, or perhaps
The...
it was Taka. We already know Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the...
It's true that Hifumi
was killed,
while Taka's
death came from a switch.
See? So it's
oh, I'm gonna have to
do
a flashback memory. Dang it! The order that the Justice Hammers were used in to commit the murders. Something about that is bothering me.
So, regarding Taka's death. I wonder if he
yep.
died before Hifumi.
I gotta hold X.
Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the number.
Pouring up the justice.
Yeah, there's something wrong with assuming that. Here we go.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers.
Here we go. Oh boy.
If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order,
Yep.
but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Evidence that proves Taka was killed before Hifumi. I feel like there was something. Oh. A hangman's gambit. Oh no. Pop goes the weasel.
I've got it! Taka's wristwatch. See? Look! It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night,
Hey, you! How long were you gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
so if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
Uh-huh.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us.
Yup.
We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
I mean, it's not necessarily that. I mean, the wrong assumptions could also just be because... Oh, my goodness.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
I mean, not necessarily. Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi! He's in the nurse's office! This is bad. Come on, we have to go back!
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Yeah.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
I don't think that's how that worked, but otherwise we would have found a tape recorder.
If that's true, where's the tape?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Yeah, it's just throwing everything off, man. Thankfully, it's not as bad as, like, later games and how they handle, like, ridiculous information just getting spouted all over the place, but... Oh god, Hiro was a precursor to all that bull crap, wasn't he?
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared.
Yeah, boy.
When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then.
Well, I mean, oh boy.
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Yep.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies.
Actually, moving Hifumi's body, yes. Killing Hifumi, I'm not so sure.
On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
Kyoko, that's also another way to enunciate that.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles.
Yep.
So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's another way to focus in on things. Good idea.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said,
We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So then, the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time? It would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Impossible for a dead person, maybe.
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another ghost!
I love KG Tang as a voice actor and how he's just able to like completely shred his voice for the craft. It's insane what he does sometimes.
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
Yup! Yup!
He was alive?
The only way Hifumi could have realistically gotten from one place to another is if he faked his death and just... yeah.
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
Yep.
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive. Is it really possible? Yeah. Honestly, it is. But I'm gonna have to look through this sequence of events because I only have 3 hearts and I don't want to risk anything.
Nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive.
That's
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
yeah.
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Oh man! But the body discovery announcement was only made once. That much I'm sure of.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the
I gotta
nurse's
speed
office,
through to the end and then absorb that as a flashback. That's the only way. That's it's another contradiction one.
And that is why.
Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
There we go. Let's try this line of thought.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he was at?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's
Dead body had been...
There we go!
No, that's wrong. Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Yup.
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time
Oh,
that
wow.
Taka's body was found.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can use the L button to just like completely eliminate the text box, so you can just like enjoy a complete scene here. Oh boy. I gotta utilize that for a thumbnail or something.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
Yep.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
I don't think that's it.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail.
I hate this bear so much.
But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty.
It was plenty. Because it did play twice. For 2 dead bodies. Oh, I love little details like that.
Huh? He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time. Which means, even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Yep.
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
The second body discovery announcement. The first time it played was when we found each body in the nurse's office and the equipment room. And the second time was when both bodies were rediscovered.
We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies.
Here we go.
A body has been discovered! After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin!
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet.
Yep.
Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
Jeez!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard.
Yeah. She means well, though.
But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
Jeez, you are really defensive today. There has to be proof that shows Hifumi was still alive. I have to find it and show it to everyone. Oh boy. Okay, so Hifumi's glasses, repository dolly, repository. It's Hifumi's glasses.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office.
Uh-huh.
And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
That is all truthful so
but
far.
when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the
Changing how it was positioned.
Oh, God!
Shoot!
I should just let it play out. I cannot mess
Well,
around
here's
with this.
one thing we do know.
I'm playing from behind at this point. I am playing from behind, and I am turning... Oh, golly.
The first time we found Hifumi, and then, well, his body disappeared.
And the next time it was in the
But when you compare his body before the other than the
change in how it was positioned, there was no
God dang it. It was right after.
No, that's wrong.
There we go. Jeez.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses.
Uh-huh.
That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
Yep. Here we go.
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood.
Yep.
But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
The evidence I found in the trash can in the nurse's office was the glasses cleaning cloth with one of his favorite...
I got it!
Here we go.
It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot.
Mm-hmm.
One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean, and the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right?
Yep.
And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
Yep. I'm surprised you remembered all that. Wow.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
Surprised just because of, like, Hina's relationship with the guy being pretty... But, yeah, I guess Hina cared in her own way.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
Jeez. Well, that is definitely a Byakuya thing to say.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Yep.
Then it must have been him, right?
Things are starting to go in a very interesting direction.
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see.
Yep.
Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
Copious? Jeez.
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
No, if anything, it was probably blood from the refrigerator.
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out. So he just dumped it everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot.
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
The one who moved Taka's body was... Hifumi.
I got it! it could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
Yep.
The door was locked?
Yep.
Well,
it was.
After the bodies disappeared, y'all went looking for them, right?
Man, she was out for a lot of this, wasn't she? I never realized, but she took a really nice, yeah, took a real nice siesta.
So me and Sakura headed for the repository, but when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside, which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
Yeah. Hifumi was an accomplice.
If you're having
Just
trouble,
so we're clear.
would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
Oof. The thing that Hifumi stole from Taka. Could it be? Oh, yeah, the note that he put down his pants.
I got it!
Oh, back to 4
You're
hearts.
talking about the note Hifumi had hidden
Yay.
away, aren't you?
God, I really dug myself into a hole there.
Hidden note?
Yep.
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
Oh boy.
What? In his
Oh.
Pants?
Let's just stop right there. Genocider show. Let's just stop right there.
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Let's take a look at what the note says.
Oh god, I'm so uncomfortable. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
Ah, that's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro, and that person could only have been... I got it!
Taka.
That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
Oh, jeez.
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, I can't let her get to me. Glasses clean. Oh, 5. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
The time mentioned in the note. I feel like that's the key. Oh, the broken wristwatch, I guess.
Huffy had the note, right?
Okay.
Then the person it was intended for must have been Happy.
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
Oh, jeez. Dang it. Okay, you know what?
Right?
I need to absorb what the note said.
It was intended must have been Happy.
But remember what the
Note said.
There we go. That's what I need to do.
What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing.
TikTok!
Dang it! I have no idea what you're talking about, but I want to stab your seriously adorable, serious face off. Jeez.
Shoot. I need to think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere. Oh boy, it has to be the broken wristwatch or something. Oh. Okay, you know what?
Happy had the note, right? Then the person it was in must have been Happy. But remember what the note. What time did it say to
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing.
TikTok!
Oh god, I'm starting to do the whole thing again where I'm mistaking the controls. Okay, it was the broken. I sort of just got with my first reaction. I'm digging myself a hole.
No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that.
No further objections.
She's just sowing chaos for the fun of it. Jeez.
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. Ugh. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less.
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Yep.
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Yeah. Proof that Hifumi stole the note from Taka. It's the ripped piece of paper. Kiyotaka's scrap of paper. That's the proof.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup. They're from the same piece of paper.
Hey.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap.
Oh, that was an oversight.
Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure.
Yeah, needlessly complicated.
In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
Sorry, no.
I just had to cut that off. I'm so sorry.
When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
Yeah.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
No, it's not the the mastermind of the case, you mean? Not the mastermind.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
I read too much into what Sakura said.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
Yeah.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Jeez!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
I feel like it would be much more, like, in line with their character to call her a... Well, mostly just because of one of her facial portraits. Which, again, it's a very common thing. I just don't want to sound offensive. Like, she looks like a chipmunk with that.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi!
Like, it's a really cute face. Like, for real. It's just... Yeah. Walrus is not necessarily the best insult to use against a person at all, really.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
Yeah, it would.
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Jeez, people have their moments, Byakuya. Wasn't it you that said not to be held down by one's preconceived notion of reality? Maybe you should, like not pull a fundamental attribution error with Hero there.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
It's none of the Justice Hammers, dude.
Then,
As far as I know, like, just looking at the truth bullets we have available, that's our murder weapon.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
Byakuya is on the same train of thought.
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah, aka a hammer that was based off one of the art mallets in the repository.
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi? The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somehow, I have to find the truth. Oh, jeez. Okay, they have spotless hammer, so I'm just gonna automatically assume that might be the case.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was
Yeah.
it Justice Hammer 3?
Nope.
Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
No.
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Jeez.
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be...
Nope!
No, that's wrong.
Not the Justice Hammers! Thank you, Hero, for giving me a convenient
The
end.
murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Yup.
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris, but for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder.
Yup.
If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off.
That was such an oversight.
I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones,
Some as big as your head.
and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder.
Yep.
So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least, that's what we thought at first, but... Oh, jeez. Broken response, blue sharp, and spotless hammer. Oh, jeez. I'm probably gonna have to do a full-on, like, flashback memory or something.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
Yep.
even if more than one person is complicit in the murder,
That is... Yep.
only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Is the possibility of an accomplice really that insane? Or is there some chance? And
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible.
that's the
two
point that I'm
people
going to
work
need to
together on this.
attack. So,
That is how the
But that only really applies.
In this case, however, there were two murders.
I'm gonna assume this and just... I'm just gonna go
Based on
shot in the
rules
dark
that
here.
have been laid out, even if more than one person is complicit in, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the
Yep.
No, that's wrong.
Thank you, Kyoko, for making that obvious about the two murders thing.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering.
Now, if only other characters were able to, like, you know, assert the reasoning. I mean, that's the thing I find a little silly about that whole sequence of events. Like, Kyoko could very well lead you on the tangent without having to resort to, like, that whole roundabout thing. It's just an extra, yeah.
Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
The tunnel.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents.
Oh, jeez.
And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
Jeez.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice.
Jeez.
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
Ay, ay, ay.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You'd be surprised. Ugh.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Yeah, it is. It is a little odd, but let's just play this out. The effort made to convince us the two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's string?
Ultimate talent, perhaps?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end, murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
Well, your poker face is an absolute.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him,
Oh boy.
that I would go within 10 feet of that shit from brains, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot!
Jeez!
Pardonnez-moi.
What was that?
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Holy crap! That was a lapse in your mask. Holy moly!
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you.
I knew it was coming, but dang!
Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
What it is that only Hifumi and Celeste had in common. And say encountering the suspicious individual.
I got it!
Yeah. Oh, backed up
The
to 5
behavior
hearts.
they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
What the dude!
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Fumi! He's in the nurse's office! This is bad. Come on, we have to go back!
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into two groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well. Then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will lead the capture of the suspicious individual Tutoko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance
I
events
still hate this
suddenly
trail so
become
much.
connected.
It's a little bit of a mess.
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead.
Yeah? I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered. Oh!
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Queen of liars!
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait, then that was...
Celeste is conniving. Absolutely ruthless, man.
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Oh my god.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
That is not an overstatement. Holy moly.
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Oh boy.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
Yep.
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die! Just like those guys died.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead.
Oh.
Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Jeez. Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to? He's alluding to the fact that it seemed like Celeste knew Taka was dead. Oh my god.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated.
That's
We
not
are
what you
all
said.
going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What
Yeah.
was so strange about Celeste's comment?
So strange. When Celeste said what she did, she shouldn't have known yet. With that in mind, what's so strange about what she said is...
All I said was, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be positive we are all
Going to die here. We are going to die.
Just like go.
There we go!
No, that's wrong.
I'm surprised I'm doing so well with the flashback memories, though.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died.
Yep.
When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Oh, God. Oh, no, she's going to break.
You all have such vivid imaginations.
No, we're not.
You know that?
Imaginations.
Imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
No.
Have you so quickly forgotten?
Oh, God.
You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit.
This is... I'm starting to remember why. It's this little detail that's made me, like, remember why I don't like this trial so much, because it has such a convoluted reason as to why, you know, this ended up... And I don't think it was drugging. I don't think it was drugging.
Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Jeez.
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
Yep.
No, there is no other explanation.
Bull crap. Other explanations? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is Hifumi and the suspect have been drinking. Hifumi and the suspect are dancing.
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility.
God, the visible disgust on her face.
The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Yup! That's actually what happened. He has not been lying this entire time.
Such a thing is utterly impossible.
Unless you count the stupidity of what is about to transpire here.
Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Oh, the final arguments. Here we go. Robo Justice costume. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Okay.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
I mean, that was what happened.
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Oh! But what about the design of the suits?
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You totally can't bend at the waist! Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake. It was purposeful.
I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Oh god, she is starting to break.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Oh, what happened to the accent?
Celeste?
That's not Celeste. That is that has never been Celeste.
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, Hifumi! Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right. I remember their name. Yasuhiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Wait, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro. It's actually Taro.
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
Yeah.
He did say Yasuhiro. But are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
God, she's so hinged!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
Yeah, he said for serious.
I got it!
Said people's last names.
That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name.
Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well,
no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
how should I respond to that?
Well, do I?
I mean, before you looked like an elegant princess, but now it's like you're starting to lose it a little bit.
What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Fine. Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste still won't give up. So then, I have to do something to make her accept it. Oh, another one. Here we go. It's the e-handbook. We're automatically just going to that.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something.
Yep.
He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
That is correct.
If there's one person here who might have that last name.
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is...
Celestia Ludenberg, God it!
Jeez!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since
You have no way to contradict me.
God damn.
That's
Right
the
at
only truth there is! Moron!
Fudge!
And since you have no
Way to contradict me.
Right at the tip!
That's it! The handbook!
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start it up, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Oh boy.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because...
Jeez.
Until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes.
God.
And that'll bring everything to an end.
Oh, this is so messy. Well, anyways, time for the closing argument that I'm probably gonna have to speed up. Okay, we're gonna stick with that.
Here's exactly what happened. Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was...
Yep, okay.
Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes.
Jeez. Okay. So far, so good.
First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning.
Okay, so he was drunk.
That someone they met with was Hiro.
What is up with the Fumi's like? God, these illustrations are so
The
exaggerated.
murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect.
Like,
So when they met up with him,
like, Hifumi looks like a freaking demon. Oh my god.
they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault.
Now, if only the actual picture looked like that, maybe more people could have been fooled, but yeah.
They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan.
Rest in peace, my neurodivergent...
They called Taka to the equipment
Oh,
room.
crap. Oh, okay, I guess I did get the right one. Oh.
And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
Rest in peace, my neurodivergent brother.
The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect.
Dang.
The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library.
I feel like I just get drawn into, like, Makoto just reenacting this just because, I don't know, Bryce Papenbrook is just a really good voice actor, but also, like, it's just... I don't know, when something culminates together, it's so satisfying.
This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2, and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these two incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that.
Jeez.
While we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for.
Oh boy.
He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found.
Jeez.
Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi.
Dang.
We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room.
So, yeah, least favorites? I don't know, I think I overblew it. That's on me. That's honestly on me.
He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared.
I think mostly because the first time I played this, I had no idea what to pick, and I just was not confident in my decision-making skills. So this was very, yeah. This was incredibly hard.
But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case.
I did not mess up that entire recounting.
Is...
Dang. Dang, that was insane. Oh, jeez. I love the graphic there.
Sorry, you lose.
Jeez.
I lost? I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words?
Jeez.
They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor.
Goodness gracious.
I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no.
Oh dear. The accent went down.
Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
That is so odd.
Taiko?
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the bullet time battle was just right at the beginning of this. Yeah, I don't think they're all going to be A's this time, but oh well. Oh, no, that was a... Okay. Wow.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
Jeez.
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote. Okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened?
I realize I just basically had Makoto, completely, bond with someone who was very much, creating a caricature of stereotypical European people. Like, that's just... That when I say it out loud, it does not sound really good.
Will you make the right choice or the
It really does not.
dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
It's really not good. Well, anyways, take it away, slot machine. Teiko. Yasuhiro. Dang.
What?
It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The Blackened this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was...
Ta-da!
Celestia Ludenberg! Or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro!
Honestly,
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Fumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Hifumi with this plan? But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty. Lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So then,
Then did you use... You know. I knew you'd figured it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. To get Hifumi to act as my accomplice,
indeed.
I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but... it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Does she mean? Is she talking about alter ego?
Say what?
What? What? What? What are you talking about?
just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. I'm totally out of the loop, as usual. How sad.
In other words,
Then you're the one that stole it?
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meeting about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. What are you doing here?
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you. Alone. It is about what was stolen. I know who did it.
What?
are you okay with this?
It was Taka. He stole it.
Yeah!
What?!
So then,
And I have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I'd found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier, and took pictures of it there. I deleted the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hifumi. Of course.
Damnation!
So it was him! But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her! You are correct. Which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
What?!
as for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh,
He did?
as for me,
He came to my room last night unannounced. And then, it's hard for me to even say. He abused me. This is honestly one of the most f***ed up things I have, seen, anyone proclaim in this. Look, I say this as someone who made his own share of mistakes with women, and through those mistakes, I'd say it's made me someone who is desperate to try and, like, correct the wrongs that I've made in my life. And so, I mean, I can't really have an opinion about this for real. However, the fact that Celeste is truly a person who would do just about anything to get her way, even if it means fabricating a full-on sexual assault allegation against the most moral character in this game. The most moral character who, I mind you, I believe is neurodivergent coded. Like, it hits me so hard. It hits me so hard as someone who, you know, desperately, and I mean desperately, wants to fit in. And unfortunately, when I end up doing things that, you know, blow up in my face for no fault of others but me, and to have to see Taka, who is a lot more true to himself than I could ever be at this moment in time. I'm working on it personally in my own time. Yeah, Celeste is truly a truly despicable individual. No regard for others, no regard for just any sort of decency. Especially to the people who actually go through this kind of crap and actually get traumatized for life and have to spend their entire lives in therapy. Like, oh my god, I have no sympathy for her. I have no pity for her. Like, this is just absolutely disgusting and terrible.
What?
Andy, he took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice.
Damnation!
That's a crime. An absolute crime! I knew he'd gone a little crazy, but...
Say what?
I never imagined he would go that far! It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. I'm about to say something I've never said before in my life.
Completely unforgivable!
This line absolutely sent me the first time I replayed this again because of just... I'm saying, when you do cursing right in any sort of, like, fictional setting, like, it's absolutely off-putting because you wouldn't expect Hifumi to say the kind of language, like, the F word. I mean, that's why it sent me when Taka just absolutely raged against Monokuma. Like, that was crazy. And, you know, I don't know, like, I don't know, I found a way to channel some really intense anger into that, so when I was saying that as Taka, I mean, it was, ew.
I'm going to kill him! I'm going to fucking kill him!
Most unfortunate.
Oh, wait! Please. If you go now, you will be playing right into his hands.
Actually,
Taka is planning to use her to escape. And he has made you his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean... Taka is going to try and kill you. What?
Indeed.
And also, he can keep her to himself.
This is unforgivable!
That bastard!
Completely unforgivable!
Bastard! Bastard! Bastard!
Honestly.
Can we allow him continue with his barbaric acts? Absolutely not! How could I? She...
I swear I will save her!
I have to save her!
Actually,
Then, would you like to join with me? It just so happens I have come up with a plan. I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. And with that, it is complete. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Hifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love. Even a love as twisted as that can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me!
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
indeed.
Yeah. It was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that. But it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But...
So, why did you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid.
Huh?
That's it?
Let's see.
And in that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But when you were explaining your plan to Hifumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hifumi supposed to do after that, assuming you had actually let him live?
Are you okay with this?
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, when someone showed up, I told him to say he'd had been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. Did he really believe that? Well, of course. That wasn't all there was to it. As I explained it to Hifumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have an alibi. So nobody could doubt him. I told him that, and he believed it. It all seems very straightforward, stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
so in the end,
So you had planned to kill him all along? But of course. There would have been no point to my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can human life mean so little to you?
Well,
That's a non-issue.
I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean!
Now you sound like Byakuya!
I wonder about that.
No, he derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then, what made you take things this far?
What the heck?
Was it really just for money? Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, that's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life here began, my only thought has been escape.
But
All along, you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little
Obviously, that was a lie!
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else in here!
You little
I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And do you want to know why? Huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting a life here would have meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly.
And there was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical killing.
As for me,
And it was all for that dream. And what was this dream of yours?
isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. A castle? And to gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers/bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence.
This is fine.
Living the rest of my life there was my only dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about! Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but
There is nothing to be done.
unfortunately, my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream to the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
You sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying, and plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared?
Yes, indeed.
That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
Hey,
You just get executed again.
Celeste smiled then. And when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed
she could fool her own feelings. But that statement itself must have been her final lie. And that weak, fake smile is what betrayed her.
Thrills, chills, kills!
You all done? Okay, then let's get rolling! The Blackened disturbed the peace and must pay the price.
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment.
For her, the ultimate gambler.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What?
This is...
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
I'm not gonna lie, This execution scene is probably my favorite of the ones from this game. Like, bar none. I think mostly just because it's so fitting for her and what she's about. It's simply called the Burning of the Versailles Witch. A full-on European burning at the stake. That... To be honest, she can't even have the death she wants, because in just a little bit, after all the fire just consumes the set around her, and she's looking up to the ceiling, trying to keep that false smile alive, Monokuma just decides to come in on a fucking fire truck to just, like, crash into her and kill her that way. It's so... It's so messed up. It's so messed up. A messed up death for a even more messed up person. If only she could have gotten the help she needed. It's over. The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friend, so I can't pity her, but I also can't deny that at one point, I considered her a friend too. And for him to just come along and... Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of their regrets from the outside world, and so more people had to die.
Extreme!
You guys are still young! You need to place more value on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Jeez. And here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Let me out of here!
What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here!
Too bad.
You're all the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is. But that reality just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep going through this? What do you want from us?
How strange.
God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Kyoko,
Did I see you get some kind of key-type object from Celeste?
Hey! Hey!
So, what's the deal with that?
What?
Huh? What's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
you...
What did you do? What did you do to me?
Who?
What?
Hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh, how exciting!
What? Oh man! Oh jeez! Oh man! Oh jeez! What do you mean? What did I do? I had no idea! I don't know anything about it! What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body. What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting kinda awkward. I think it's about time I got out of here.
Well?
Meanwhile, you guys can go on enjoying your school life. If you don't get lonely, give me a shout! Not that I'll do anything about it, of course.
See ya later!
See ya! Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although, it wasn't all despair. There was one small hope. Hey, Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what's that key that Celeste gave you?
so...
Most likely, it's the key to one of the dressing room lockers.
Huh?
What? Then that means... Celeste probably hid it in there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we'd better go check.
Indeed.
Good idea. Good idea indeed. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Kyoko looked back at us and said,
Hey,
I'm going to go on alone from here. Everyone else head to the dining hall. I'll check in with you later.
What?
Why, exactly, are you going alone?
so...
Do you even have to ask? As she spoke, she glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. Why you? There's still the risk of a spy, you know. Then I'll go too.
What?
You? Please, let me go! Standing here arguing is just going to draw more attention to us.
Goodbye.
Do whatever you want. Thank you, Byakuya.
well then.
Then it's up to you now.
Yo!
I'm gonna go to the dining hall, okay? Huh? So Makoto and Kyoko are gonna go together? Hina, you are reading way too much into this. Does that mean what I think it means?
Okay.
Good luck, Makoto! Girls like her are total pushovers when you show a little backbone! I tried to forget what Hina said. Everyone headed to the dining hall, leaving me and Kyoko there alone.
Shall we go?
Well, shall we? Yeah.
So then...
We need to get into that locker. Kyoko took the keys Celeste had given her and unlocked the locker. And as the locker swung open, we saw...
You really came.
Good morning! It's been a while, hasn't it? It's safe. Thank goodness. I'd never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart.
I did just what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet the entire time. Oh, and I think I might be able to open the last set of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait just a while longer.
So, now we can officially say the case is closed. As far as this incident is concerned, sure, but can we take a second? Since we have this opportunity, I want you to be honest with me. Kyoko, please tell me. What are you trying to do all on your own here at the school? Is that why you wanted to come here with me?
However...
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know. That just makes me even more worried.
What?
Worried? Like what happened during the investigation this time. You disappeared, and we didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation. When you do that...
Indeed.
It's only natural that they think I'm the mastermind spy, right? And you too. No! I believe in you.
What?
You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? That's why I want you to tell me. And I want you to believe in me too. Because we're friends. I understand.
It's true.
Then maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more. Then...
That's fine.
Fine. I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappearing. And where I've been going. You see... What I heard from Kyoko then was... Well, frankly, it kind of blew my mind. Right after I told Kyoko I believe in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. I decided I had to confirm what she told me with my own two eyes. So I waited for nighttime to come. And when it did, I went into action.
Correct.
The boys' bathroom on the second floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor in it. And in the storage closet there, way in the back, she said it was way in the back of the boys' bathroom storage closet, but could Kyoko really be right about this? This episode's gone on long enough, but I can't leave it on a cliffhanger. And I picked the wrong bathroom. I guess I confused my symbolism. Oh well. I should have looked at the icon that reminded me of the cursor in SMT games. It's just a normal storage closet as far as I can tell. The secret Kyoko told me about, could it really be hidden here? She said it was way in the back of the storage closet. But I mean, seriously? Without thinking, I placed my hand on the back of the storage closet, and suddenly, as if I were being yanked in, at the same time as I heard that sound, I fell through the wall. I had no idea what was going on. I had fallen through the back of the storage closet. Huh? It turned out The back wall was like a revolving door, and I'd made my way to the other side, just like Kyoko had said.
Correct.
In the boys' bathroom on the second floor, there's a storage closet. And way in the back of that closet, there's a secret room. So this is the secret room. But what's in here? There's a bunch of files, and what look like volume after volume of yearbooks. They're all covered in dust. Looking at everything, one file at the edge of the bookshelf caught my eye. Hope's Peak Academy's student registry? This is the only thing in here not covered in dust. Has someone been looking at it recently? I slipped the file into my hand, but before I had a chance to take a look at it, a slip of paper fell out of the file, and I turned my attention to it. What's this? You must not leave. That's kind of weird. I could understand if it said, like, I can't leave, but you must not leave? What is this? My head feels funny. This strange sensation, it's like deja vu. Those words, you must not leave. I've seen them somewhere before, but I can't quite remember. What do I know? What don't I know? Oof. That's gotta hurt. A strange sound rang out through my head. It felt like it was shaking my brain back and forth. And then, darkness. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what started it. It's all over. And with that, I opened my eyes. I didn't know how long it had been. Ow! Apparently, something hit me, and I lost consciousness. That's all I understood. The dull, throbbing pain in my head proved that much, at least. An empty bookshelf. Huh? Empty? Gone. It's all gone! The yearbooks, the student registry, and even the note that had fallen on the floor. It's all gone? What does this mean? While my brain refused to do any more work, the insistent pain in my head began to spread across the rest of my body. For now, I should go back to my room, get some rest. My body was heavy with pain, my mind heavy with thought. I dragged myself back toward my room. Somehow, I made it back to the first floor of the school. The farther I walked, the more I felt things are getting blurry. Can't see in front of me. I couldn't stop myself from collapsing right there. And after that, as if from a vast distance, I heard a sound. It was faint, but undeniable. That sound, it's coming from the gym? As I desperately hauled my shaky frame toward the gym, the sound got stronger and stronger. What's going on? It can't be nothing. Here, in the gym? I didn't make a sound as I opened the door to the gym. The sounds coming from inside, meanwhile, only intensified that much more. Seriously? You had to be an action-packed sequence, and then you had to, like, make the wind blow up Sakura's skirt. Dude, man. Before me, there raged a battle beyond anything humanly possible. No, one side's not human, that's for sure, but regardless, I couldn't stop staring. I forgot to move or even breathe.
Why, you? What do you think you're doing? I asked you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me? This wasn't part of the deal!
The deal?
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
Okay.
Jeez.
But you do realize what will happen if you go through with this, right?
Ooh.
You haven't forgotten, have you?
For some reason, I'm getting a really bad cramp right now, and the pain just, like, singed through me right at that moment. Oh my god, that was terrible. Oh!
What I'm holding hostage?
Jeez. What am I looking at? What am I hearing? A hostage? Then, could it be? The mastermind spy is... Ooh! Thank you all for bearing with me throughout this entire experience. Honestly, it's just a great feeling to be able to do this for you all. Honestly, it's been like an interesting experience at work, just having to do a bunch of stuff like getting merchandise out. I work in retail, so like getting to do this and, you know, feeling any sort of thing, whether it be joy or what, or just complaining, enjoying a game that allows me to have a decent amount of feeling to it. I mean, it's just, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up. This is going to be the whole 2-week buffer thing, so there's not going to be anything new for the next 2 weeks, just because, like, I want to be able to just, like, kick back and relax. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care, everyone. Stay classy, you wonderful weirdos. See you in the next video.